Okay, on page 44, the project objectives, that's item D. I just want to point out here, they use that acronym SMART again: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely for the project objectives. Okay, on page 46, the second paragraph that's in bold, it says applicants should review section 1D, financial assistance strategy requirements, to incorporate the SFC nonprofit capacity building program requirements into the proposed financial assistance program. Here again, they are telling you exactly what to do. So you have no excuse not to do that. Okay, on page 50, it has the review and selection process. So if you're interested in knowing how it's going to be reviewed, that's there. But what's more important to me is the review criteria. That's what you need to make sure you cover within the proposal. Okay, and I'm going to stop here with this RFP because the rest of it is things you may want to know, but things you don't necessarily need to know to prepare the proposal. So if you were actually applying, you should read this, but the parts that I went over are the parts that you would really need to study. Okay, do we have any general questions or comments on the RFP? Yes. Did everybody hear what he said? Okay, in a nutshell, that there's a problem that sometimes you have really great organizations that can't get the money because they don't have professional grant writers. And then you may have an organization that's really not doing such great work, but they can afford to hire a grant writer, and so they're getting the money, and they may not be doing such a great program. And I have to say, I agree with you. I've done workshops for, I did workshops for a resident advisory board at a public housing project in District of Columbia. This was a long time ago. And the people had really wonderful, excellent ideas, and it was their kids and their community, so you knew they were serious about it. But I just know that they were going to have a hard time getting funding because they didn't have the skills to put together a really good proposal. So it is a problem. But I think that it's something that, you know, this workshop will hopefully help with. You know, there's but so much that we could do, but at least through this, I'm trying to share what I've learned over the years, because I've been doing this for 25 years, what I've learned, so hopefully you can avoid some of the problems and be able to apply. But I think that what you're saying is true. Also, sometimes people have connections, you know, and you don't. You may have a fantastic project, but you don't have the connections. But anyway, we're not here to complain about what we can't do anything about. We're going to move forward and do what we can. Let me get her first. Yes? Okay, did everybody hear that? Well, I guess I'm supposed to repeat it. The question was, if, let's say, you only got 95 points out of the 100, is there a way for you to find out why you missed those 5 points, where you fell short? And do you have an opportunity to go back and rewrite and try to make up for it? The first part of it, will you be able to find out what you didn't do as well as they wanted? The answer is yes. I believe that you have to write to the agency that you applied for. This is if it's a federal agency. And usually it's reviewed by 3 people, and you can actually get a copy of their reviews. And I should mention that that's why also it's important that you follow the criteria that we went over with the points, because they have a form that has those same criteria, and they go through, this section is worth 3 points. How many points are you going to give them? 0 if they didn't do it at all, 2 if it was pretty good, 3 if it was excellent. And so they go through, and then they also write what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses, and you get it from 3 different people. So you can get that sent to you so that you can see what it is that they didn't like and what it is that they did like, just as important. Now, the second part of the question, unfortunately, no. Once they go through this review process and they award the funds, so you're pretty much out of luck unless some of these grant opportunities come up year after year. So if this is something that's recurring, if you get your reviewer comments from 2009, then you could try to reapply in 2010, and you now know what things you need to work on. With foundations, it really varies. Some foundations have very small staff, and they're not going to be able to tell you exactly what they liked and what they didn't like. They'll usually just tell you, they'll send you more or less a form letter saying, we got more applications than we have funds for, and unfortunately we had to turn away a lot of deserving programs. So, that doesn't really help you. But oftentimes you can't find out. But with the federal grants, you can.